So my plan for now is to actually remove the carpet from the car. It's gonna be a lot of the actual inside of the car is gonna come apart. I wanna put sound deadening stuff underneath the carpet, and I wanna clean the carpet. I wanna take the carpet out of the car. I'm gonna give it like a good shampoo. It's gonna be a big job. Then also, I have some speakers that are coming in from Amazon that I ordered the same day. And so what I'm gonna do is take the doors, I'm gonna take the door panels off. I'm gonna take the speakers that I have installed in here, and I'm actually going to put them in the rear deck because these are component speakers. They have tweeters with them that I never installed. I'm not an audio file, you know, I'm not an expert and I don't need it to be perfect, but I just want to sort of round out the sound of the audio system. If I'm gonna go through all the work of doing the sound deadening and stuff, I may as well have a working audio system. While the door cards are off, I'm gonna do the sound deadening and stuff as well. This is a pretty neat little setup from Painless. I love Painless. I really wish they had stuff for import cars. It's a fuse block. So the way it works is this is a built-in relay, and focus, you fuck. So the way it works is there are 3 circuits. You can see these are 3 fuse circuits that run off of this relay, and this is actually the fuse for the relay energizing circuit. So all you do really is you put one circuit through an ignition power source, so once you turn on your key, it'll flip the relay, and then it'll turn on these 3 other circuits. And so you can use those 3 other circuits for anything you want, really, and I have a number of things that I want to use it for. The other thing I wanted to show you really quick is this package that I got, already open. But this is from a company called RAM Audio, R-A-A-M Audio. This right here is foam with an adhesive back on it. That is, of course, just sound sort of absorption stuff. This right here it's essentially Dynamat. It's pretty much identical. It's got the same sort of structure to it. You know, it doesn't say Dynamat on it, but it's essentially the same thing. The 240 chassis, the S chassis, it doesn't really have refinement. It's not quiet, of course. It's not very sturdy. It's got lots of creaks and rattles, and I want to try and just make the experience of driving this car better. This is going to add weight. It's going to make the car technically slower and worse, but the trade-off, as far as, you know, performance, it might be worse. It's going to be hopefully a lot more comfortable to drive, hopefully a lot more enjoyable to drive. And the reason for this is because I'm moving and I want to drive the car maybe as a daily driver. I really want it to be more drivable than it is now. And so this is part of that process. So I have been thinking about it a little bit. I still haven't done any work and it's been a few hours, but I've been thinking how I want to go about doing this, and I think, like my sort of typical style, I'm going to just go for it and see what happens. Driver's seat is out, so just for anybody following along, there's 4 bolts that hold the driver's seat in, and of course you got your connector for the seat belt sensor. Then the center console, I'm taking this out, and it's only 4 bolts as well. 2 inside the little compartment, and then 2 up front. Here's one of them. Okay, I just got super discouraged for a second, but I think I'm going to be okay. I think I know what I'm gonna do now. I don't want to go through the effort of removing my dash. What I have to do though, and I don't think I can show this in video because it's gonna be well, I don't know. Maybe you can see that this is the center console right here. So this is under the dash. This is the, oh, I have this lock in here. That's the gas pedal. So this carpet goes over the top and across, but there's some vertical stuff connected under there. I don't know if it's even visible, but the point is that you can't just slide the carpet out. It's gotta, basically you have to remove the dash and all of this, like what you're looking at right here. I can't take it all out the proper way, and so what I've been told is you gotta cut it. And I think it sounds like it's actually not all that hard to cut it because there's some perforations in there somewhere. So, I don't know. For now, we'll keep moving forward and see what happens. Okay, so I'm getting somewhere. Rear stuff is all gone, and the middle stuff is gone. Right now, I'm undoing all of my gauges. So this is my gauge panel that I made. I have to undo all of the connections so I can take the panel out. And you can see back there, it's a mess of wires. So I might have to clean some of that up while I do this because it's so much junk and I don't think I need all of it. Look at this mess. This isn't really gonna matter to anybody watching, but I'll just show you real quick. So these two white connectors are adapters that you buy for putting in an aftermarket stereo. This is the connector that goes to my radio, which is sitting right there, the head unit. And so then the wires here, they go back to all of the speakers in the car. So that's what that is. And then I've got a couple of other things. This is for all my sensors. So this is the oil line for my oil gauge, which is a mechanical gauge. This is the boost line for my boost gauge. This is the sensor wire for my temperature gauge. This is the ground for the temperature gauge. And this is the power for the temperature gauge. So I got that stuff there. This right here, so these wires, these two, there's a red and a yellow and a red and a blue. Those two are the original wiring for the light that would be, it's the surround for the power outlet, or I guess like the cigarette lighter. The surround around it is a light up ring that has a light in it, and that's what these are. So that comes on with your headlights. So I hijacked it and slapped these 3 lights on it that go to my gauges. So since they're all powered by the same line, it's probably not ideal. It's probably drawing more current through these little wires than you should, but whatever, it works. This is the antenna. And so what's the real important thing for me to look at right now is actually my wideband setup. So the rest of this is just, it is what it is. Real quick, this yellow, you can see that yellow line that comes all the way out through here and to there. That is airbags. So that's the airbag, central airbag unit that has, from my understanding, that box is an accelerometer or something like it, and it just senses when there's massive change in acceleration. Faster, of course, than your car could go. Right, so it's like if you're accelerating at 25 Gs or something, it knows to blow the airbags. So that's what that is. And as far as I know, my airbags are available and good. I can hear someone yelling. There's two things that go with the wideband. So this connector here, this small one, has 4 wires, 2 of which are connected to nothing, and I'm not 100% certain what they're for. I think they might actually go to an ECU if you wanted to wire it into your aftermarket ECU. The other 2 are power and ground. So I hijacked them from what was originally the cigarette lighter. So that's what this, I have an orange and black, and this black one is just a ground. This orange and black is power for your cigarette lighter. I'm actually gonna hijack this. This is what I'm gonna use for my fuse block. That's what's gonna be my relay switch for my fuse block. So that's how I'm gonna power, or that's how I'm gonna turn on the relay on the fuse block. So I have to cut these, and I'm gonna change this around because this is eventually going to come, this power is going to come from the fuse block. The other thing that's important here is this bundle of wires. So this whole bundle of wire was underneath here, and it takes up a lot of space. But what this is the connector for the oxygen sensor itself. So I'll show you, this is what I did for mine. I cut a little slit in this rubber boot for your shifter, and this is the connector, wherever it is, right here, this is the connector for my wideband oxygen sensor. So this is a pretty good length, obviously. It looks like it comes right up, you know, inside this area where I need it. But this is ridiculously long. It only needs to be about 6 inches long, and that's probably even too much. So all of this bundle of wire I don't need is I'm gonna just chop one of these off. I'll probably chop this off somewhere around there, cut the other end off, and splice all of the wires together. It'll still work just like normal, but it'll be way shorter and so much easier to fit in. For anybody following along that might actually ever do this, if you are an S14 owner, I just tried it and it works. So the carpet, I cut this, and you can see it's a mess because I cut through the thick pile underneath. I'm not sure if I had to do that or not, but the back part, you can see right there, there's a cut, and it goes underneath all of the HVAC stuff. And all I did on the passenger side, I think you could do it on the driver's side too, I just grabbed the back of it and pulled, and look at how it came apart. You can see there's like perforations. It was attached very loosely at all these connections, and pulled on it, and it just came out. So now I think this is gonna come out pretty easily. At this moment, I think the carpet is pretty much ready to go out of the car. There's nothing really holding it in except for a couple of clips here and there that have to come off anyway. So I've been deliberating about this for a minute, actually for a lot longer than a minute, and I'm still not sure. I don't know the best way to do it, but I think I've decided how I'm going to do it. That's probably really bright. So here's the problem. The carpet is connected across the middle of the body in 3 places. Well, actually, it would have been more, but obviously I cut all of this up here in the front, so that's all been ruined anyway. I wanted to try and keep the rest of this intact. What I'm probably going to do, I'm pretty certain at this point, is cut the carpet. So I'd have to cut it somewhere in here, I'd have to cut it somewhere here, and then we're good. What I would like to do is remove the wiring for the airbags, but it's such a risk. It's a major risk to do anything with the airbag system. Airbags are just notoriously finicky. It's not really hard to accidentally trigger them. So this box, for example, if you hit it with a hammer, it might fire the airbags. What I'm worried about personally is if I was to undo the wiring, I don't think it would matter. Most likely there would be no problems. I would disconnect the battery. You're supposed to leave it disconnected for 10 minutes, and then if you do anything with the wiring for the airbags, it shouldn't matter. But there's always the risk. I think there's always a risk dealing with airbags, and while I'm fairly certain it would be okay, I'm fairly certain that I wouldn't have any problems, I don't want to risk it. I really don't. And to save the carpet from a couple of cuts, I don't think it's worth it. It's actually really important to me that I keep the airbags in the car and working properly in order to pass inspection in Canada. It's crazy to see how much you can actually do in a few hours to make a car go from being a complete, drivable, nice car to being utterly worthless. Maybe not worthless, but let me show you. Interior, gutted. There's pretty much nothing left to take out of here, and it sounds like an echo chamber. The carpet is out, obviously. I've taken everything out that I needed to get the carpet out of here. There's a lot of broken glass in here, so clearly the driver's window, or possibly this quarter window, I'm not sure, was broken at some point. What I'm starting to think about is where I can actually put some more sound deadening. Got like this right here. This is right over top of the catalytic converter, that hump. And then you got like this, the step here. You can hear it resonate a little bit, but this is probably the worst of the interior, is these back corners. So you have, this is the outside, that's the sheet metal of the outside of the car. This is the wheel well, which actually sounds pretty solid. And then you got this right here. The trunk is very interesting because it's actually already stripped. I didn't have the bottom carpet. I never did. What I wanted to show is this. This is a thing. I had no idea what was going on. So on the outside of the car, you can see a circle of rust. And I didn't understand. I thought it was maybe a GoPro had been attached there or something, and I didn't understand what this was. This is ridiculous. I don't know who did this or why, but this is a magnet right here. This, yeah. Anyway, I have no idea what the thing was, why it was there. Maybe it was a mount for a camera or something at some time, but it's ruined the paint on this panel, and that's stupid. I don't know why it was there. Someone in the past owned this car and was an idiot, but so am I. Okay, I got a lot of work done today. It's the end of the first day of doing this sort of interior revamp. I just wanted to show the interior. So I actually put the driver's seat back in because I had to go, and I drove the car up to the local car wash so I could vacuum everything out. The interior is all stripped out. So the roof is gone, the headliner I mean, is gone. All of the carpet is gone, the center console, and the trunk. Maybe you can hear that it sounds like tin in here. So that's the trunk. Pretty much empty except for the battery. Next video, or maybe next in this video, hopefully I'm gonna be doing some of the actual matte installation. The fabric on my headliner. I have some dye that I'm gonna spray my carpet with. I also have to wash the carpet. I have a lot to do, and this is just the start so far, so stay tuned.